Hello, I'm Sami, user researcher here at Synthetic Users, and in this video I'll be showing you how to set up a multi-concept test. First thing you're going to want to do, if you don't have a project already, create one. I'm going to call this one multi-concepts, and from in here we're going to be able to create studies. One of these study types is concept testing, one of the evaluative tests we have besides user testing, and this is where we're going to find, this is where you now can find the multi-concept tests that were previously under plans. So if you had been running multi-concept tests with synthetic users, that's where they were, and now we've moved them out of there and into studies. So go ahead and click on create study, and either on the blank canvas where you can build this yourself, or on the concept testing, which will open this template for you, and then you can just fill in the blanks. So the first thing you're going to want to do is describe your audience. For this one, I'm going to use style conscious, excuse my grammar, I think that's right, teenagers in London. Always do, if you don't already have your audience fully fleshed out and well-defined, use the polish button and benefit from the wonders of AI, where your audience and your simple phrase is going to be really kind of enhanced, and a more robust audience is going to be described for you. You always can add problems that your audience may potentially be experiencing that you know about. These are optional, so no need to go there if you don't have them. And you can always RAG the system as well. So adding your own proprietary data that is relevant about the audience, that can tell the system a little bit more about this audience that you want to simulate, okay? Then we're going to go and select the number of participants. I'll go with 5 for now. You can run studies with up to 20 synthetic users. And if you're running a single concept test, just one concept test, you can do that here. And you can now also add a script to your concept test. For this one, I'm showing you the multi-concept test. So I'm going to add another concept node. And this is where you're going to have to make a decision. Previously, in the multi-concepts that were under plans, there was only one type of test you could set up, and it was this one at a time, or also known as a monadic test. So basically here you're going to determine the way in which your synthetic users are going to be exposed to your concepts. By the way, you can set studies with up to 10 concepts if you have that many. And there's no need, it's not obligatory to have images. You can also test concepts that are simply written, so just the things that you can describe with words. Okay. So this was the type of multi-concept that you could previously set up, and you can still run them. The way that the system runs this is by grabbing your group of synthetic users and cloning them. This is something you cannot do with humans. We still cannot clone people or erase people's memories. So on a traditional monadic test, you would have just one person seeing one concept, and then you would have a very similar person to that one seeing a different concept, and then you would run your comparisons. And obviously in this case, synthetic users have no memory of what of the other concept they've seen. So let's go through this together. The first option is comparative. So your synthetic users will have memory. They will see all the concepts in sequence and remember the previous ones. So when evaluating concept C, they can compare it to the first and the second concept. And here's the flow, right? And if you go with one at a time or monadic, and by the way, the comparative one is also known in traditional research as sequential studies. And so you have sequential and monadic, and the monadic is what we call one at a time. The synthetic users are shown, or they're seeing the concept one at a time. Okay, each concept is shown independently. Synthetic users have no memory of the other concepts. They evaluate each one as if they've never seen the others. And what happens here is that multiplication of the interview number, basically, because we're cloning your group of synthetic users. If you were to run a study with 5 participants and having 2 concepts, that will result in 10 interviews. Okay. So for the first one, I'm going to show this one. Let's go with that. Before we go into the actual setup of the multi-concept test, I wanted to show you this table here where I'm comparing the 2 types. Okay, there's some pros and cons, but this will all depend really on or which study type is more appropriate for you will depend on your objectives, what it is you're trying to compare, and with how many people. Yeah, there's some considerations here. So then this hopefully will help you make your choice. Feel free to screenshot this or just pause this video and go through the table. For purposes of time for this video, I won't go through all of them, but this is simply to show remind that the monadic test, where you're showing participants one concept at a time, is where each participant sees just one version, one concept. And the comparative or sequential, each participant sees multiple concepts. The one at a time is best for measuring how much people like things on their own. And the sequential one or comparative is best for preference, for gauging preference. Typically, or in traditional research, when wanting to limit bias, we would run a monadic test. But also some benefits of sequential testing is that these forms of research are cheaper and faster, and require less people. So yes, have a go and go through this table in your own time, and chat to us if you have any questions or need a recommendation in terms of which one to go for. But a super simple takeaway is that normally monadic tests are cleaner, more realistic, but need more people. Hence, in synthetic research, we're cloning your audience. And the sequential one are faster and cheaper, but can be more biased. Okay, simply because participants have something to compare against, and the first thing they're exposed to sets expectations, and then they're kind of, sometimes they can guess what the objective of the test is, what the goal of the research is, by seeing all the concepts. And if they're seeing many concepts, they can get fatigued, etc. So yes, hopefully this table will help give you more guidance in that way. And now we can go in and set up our concepts. So for concept A, I'm going to drag and drop my first concept into here. I have picked a flying shoe because I feel like by the time you see this video with the speed of AI and technology, we're probably flying at this point. So, I dragged and dropped it into the wrong place. Here we go. So one cool thing about the multi-concept test at the moment is that when you upload your concept, the system is going to start generating a description for it. So if you don't already have one, you can go with that, or you can even ask Get Iris here to enhance your title and name your concept. I'm gonna go the same with concept B and drag and drop and give it a moment. Go with that description and change the title. Funky titles I'm getting. And concept C. Here we go. Yep, this normally takes just a couple of minutes, but you're also free to use your own descriptions and your own titles. So for this sort of multi-concept test, we're going to prepare our own questions, our own script, and you can have the system infer questions from your concepts, which is also nice. And if you need some support in coming up with questions, please give that a go. Yes, and if you remove this node, you will get a warning here or a note saying that you must add the interview script because it's required for this sort of test. So we're going to go ahead and add some questions. They're all going to answer the same questions for each concept. And remember that this is generating, let's say, a series of interviews with your cloned synthetic users. Okay, so once you have your list of questions, you can generate up to 10 questions to kickstart the interview, and then you will have 20 follow-up questions that you can add within the interview. I'm going to go ahead and generate my synthetic users. In the second step, you're going to be able to edit your participants if needed. And also, if you see something in this stage that sparks something in terms of your audience and something you could maybe tweak a little bit, you can always go back to the study planner and edit your audience slightly or a lot, and then proceed in the steps. Okay, so going back through the participants, seeing if there's anything you need to edit, and if your study is going to run in another language, make sure to select that here before you run the interviews, and then click Run Interviews. So previously, if you had been running the multi-concepts through plans, you would remember that you would have that tree looking visual of the study setup, where you had your audience at the top, your custom script, and then your three concepts in this case, and you could travel through each study and look at the transcripts and all, and then run a kind of overarching comparison, right, over the three concepts. Here, you're looking now at the new interface, and you have, again, the three separate studies that you can go kind of navigate through. And in the end, you'll be able to generate that comparative report as well. So that's the first version. This is going to take a couple of minutes, but I'm going to travel back to actually, I'm going to clone this study so that I can show you the other study type, the other multi-concept. So previously we had run the one at a time. I'm going to now toggle this to comparative so that they remember the other concepts. And here I can, if I click on script, there's something different here. So I'm going to eliminate these questions to show you from scratch. And here we go. Right. So again, you can infer questions from the concepts. This is going to give you some suggestions. For example, if I click on it, let's have a look. Right. So you're getting some suggestions to kick things off. Can you tell me a bit about how sneakers fit into your everyday style? So something very exploratory. And by the way, these questions are going to be asked first, right? Then you see these are attached to one of the concepts and so on. So you can get an idea of what this interview flow would be like. And yeah, I'm going to go with that suggestion. Let's see another one. And here you're going to determine what type of question this is. So is it shown together with all the concepts? Is it shown as a standalone question? I'm going to go with that one because it's kind of an introductory question. And here I'm going to go also with standalone, just to kind of get the interview started. Then if you're going to add a new question, you're going to have to select always the type of question it is. And here you're going to choose the sequence of your multi-concept test. So in which order these concepts are going to be exposed to your synthetic users. So you'd select concept A, tell me a little bit. Then you would add another question. And if you want to introduce this concept and have them compare this one to the previous one, you would write a question that's appropriate for that. And so on. So again, you have 10 initial questions to begin your multi-concept test and to decide in which order these concepts will be shown to your participants. Remember that for each question, you're going to have to decide whether you're going to ask the question with the participants seeing all the concepts or no concepts, standalone, or one of your concepts. Okay. When this is ready, you can click on generate users. And again, you'll go through the second stage, which is participants, and then finally the insights. And in the insights, this is going to be very similar to the user testing type of study, where each question is accompanied by the concept that you chose for that question. One thing to note here is that for the comparative type, for the sequential type, you can actually eliminate the script. Let me click on it. And yeah, so in this will generate the script for you and will show the concepts sequentially, of course, okay, as we have talked about previously. So in the comparative one, you have the choice of adding your own script or not, but in the one at a time, you must add a script, okay? If you have any questions, if you need any guidance or support, please let us know. And if you have any feedback as well, we're super keen and eager to receive it from you. So be sure to get in contact with us. And we hope you enjoy this. Bye.